and welcome to episode 179 of the Eldritch Podblast. I am Margaret.
I am Jack.
And we are a Dungeons & Dragons podcast where we focus on the social aspect of D&D.
We give advice to dungeon masters and players, old and new.
And most importantly, we believe in creating a safe, inclusive, and welcoming environment in the TTRPG space.
So if that sounds all right to you, welcome in.
Come on in, come on in.
Come on in here, welcome.
Hey, once again, forgot the episode number.
What? No, you didn't sound like you
Once
did.
again, you know what? Did you know on Google Docs, if you scroll down, it gets rid of the title. It gets rid of the title.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah,
Cool.
who knew? Not me.
Do you want to know what? Every day is a school day, am I right?
And I once again planned these episodes like backwards, like
Yeah.
compared to like how we actually filmed them. So I knew they had the wrong names on them. I don't know what it is about numbers. I see
They had.
number hard.
Yeah, numbers hard.
Number hard.
Yeah.
Mike is
Don't you have
icy.
dyspraxia?
I don't know. I've always thought I did, because I do that thing where I get numbers mixed around. I get numbers upside down.
Yeah.
Do you remember the time at D&D when I rolled like I think a 9 on the dice, but I was like, oh, it's a 6, and everyone was like, I was like, it's just an upside down 9, and everyone was like, you're so dumb.
Nobody said that. Nobody would ever say you're dumb.
No, true. Hello.
Hello there.
Hello. Hey, maybe some weird energy coming from me today. At the time of filming,
Yeah.
we are doing our first ever actual play on Twitch tonight. We're doing our one shot. So I'm a little nervous. I started getting nervous last night, actually.
Yeah?
And,
you started getting nervous last week.
I did.
I remember you were planning that you would like doing something to the overlay and you were like, oh, I'm starting to get nervous now.
And you know what? Last night, I don't know what it was. It all feels very real now. And I'm really nervous.
That's okay.
Like,
but honestly, to me, I've always said this. I said, if you're nervous about something, it means you care.
yeah, oh, no,
And I think
definitely.
nerves is what makes it, like, exciting to me. And, yeah, there's some nerves, but at the same time, like, at the end of the day, it's no different for us.
No, I know.
We play D&D every week.
Yeah, I know.
In our home.
I know.
And now we're just doing it, but just in front of some people on the internet.
I know. We're a great duo. You're a great DM. I'm a great player.
You're a great player.
I know that, but I don't know.
We cooked up the world primer yesterday.
I think that's actually kind of what made it real. Like, is thinking about the sequence of events that's going to happen, and no spoilers, but you know.
I mean, you don't even know.
No, I don't, because you keep saying, "Do you know what's going to happen?" No. How would I know?
I thought you might have.
No.
I thought you might know.
Should I know?
Nah.
Well, how would I know then?
Well, you'll see afterwards.
You do this with me all the time. You're like, "Do you know?" And I'm like, "No," and you're like,
yeah, but
well,
maybe you should know, and I'm just saying no because I don't want you to guess.
Yeah, I think you think that you've given me loads of hints and clues, but I think that's the DM curse of knowledge. Because
wait
you're
till after, and then we'll see.
I wonder if there's something in our session that maybe I should have known, like our actual campaign, D&D campaign. But again, you have to think I was so focused on it being our last session in our campaign.
Yeah,
I wasn't thinking about anything outside of that. So maybe I should know, but I definitely don't.
No. It'll be all right.
Yeah.
Margaret's got a coffee.
I got a coffee. Yeah.
Can you give me a drink?
Oh, if I can get it. Also, I don't know why the dog is laying like that. Listen,
he loves me.
He looks so weird in the viewfinder.
He looks very sad.
He's fine. He chose to be like this.
Yes.
In fact, when Jack was getting on the couch,
I was like mid getting
like
on, and he was crawling on as well.
And when we say crawling, we mean clawing and fighting. And you know that typical dog thing where they're trying to put their legs up and they're going like this. And Jack was trying to move the blanket and the dog was on it. It was a whole thing.
But he is where he is.
He is where he is. He's fine. He doesn't look it, but he's fine. I promise.
He's just sleepy.
Oh gosh,
He's just an old man.
You know what? When because this is like our duvet off our bed. It's my duvet. We sleep with 2 duvets. And when I went in, he was under them, so I had to like unbury him. And
no,
you know that photo of him
murdered him
looking really drunk that we have?
Yeah,
he looked exactly like that.
The Pink Bully Club.
Yeah.
Oh, he's such a sweetheart. Look at him.
He's
such a bubby.
I think he gave you a bit of a nightmare this morning.
He did.
He's so asleep. He's dreaming. I just saw him twitch.
About an hour before I got up. It was about an hour and a half before I was supposed to get up. He was like, right, well, I need a poo now. So I was like, I could just like, not let him out for a poo now and just wait a little bit and then get up a little bit earlier. I could just go and let him out now,
Yeah,
and then
and then-
let him
yeah.
up and get back in bed. So I did that, and then I got back in bed, and then I was like thinking about the one shot, and then I was like, but then I finally fell asleep. So
I can't believe I didn't hear him. Normally I hear him.
it's it's me. I'm the lighter sleeper.
You are definitely the lighter sleeper.
Of the two
yeah.
of us.
Oh, yeah. But then there's
You-
also times where I can hear a creak in the house downstairs, and I'm like, hey, the integrity of the home has been compromised.
I think the house could blow down and you'd still be asleep.
Well, I opened the window last night. Do you remember?
What a mistake.
Worst wind we've ever had.
It was like we had a
It
hurricane.
was like gale force
Yeah,
winds.
it was like a hurricane coming
Yeah.
through the house. The door was slamming, and I was
Yeah.
like, "Hey, how about you shut that window?"
Yeah.
This was a mistake.
We started watching on Netflix Blue-Eyed Samurai. You know what? You'd been wanting to watch it for ages. I'm really weird about watching things. I have such a terrible attention span. It's really hard to get me to watch something. Really good.
I feel like it's always this time of the year, though.
Yeah.
Like we always come to like October, November, December.
Yeah, yeah.
And we like to watch things.
Yeah.
Like we like to sit downstairs in the front room
Yeah.
because we got quite a nice front room and kitchen sort of area.
Yeah.
We did it out and like knocked it all through, and
Yeah,
it's really nice.
yeah,
So we
yeah.
like to go downstairs and sit down there. And we watched. God, what did we watch? We watched Legends of Vox Machina, which is an OVS.
Yes.
What was the other thing we watched? Twilight
of the Gods.
And now we're watching Blue-Eyed
Blue-Eyed
Samurai.
Samurai. We watched a couple movies. We watched The Ring. We watched Treasure Planet.
Yeah, we watched Treasure Planet.
We've watched a lot of stuff,
Yeah,
actually.
yeah.
Which, again, for me, getting me to watch things is really difficult.
Blue-Eyed Samurai, we are 4 episodes in.
Yes, 4 out of
Oh,
8,
man.
I think, is it?
It's been so good.
And again, you know what? I hope we're not sat here in like a week's time being like, oh man, the ending was disappointing, like Twilight of the Gods was.
Yeah, Twilight of the Gods ending was...
Really
I
disappointing.
just don't know why it went for a second season.
And again, I can actually see a path. No spoilers. I can see a path being laid out in this series that makes me go, they're probably going to have a second and then a third series.
Yeah.
If the trajectory is what I expect it to be, given the circumstances in the series.
Yeah.
I can see it being something like that. So I'm expecting a second series.
Yeah,
off of the back
I'm
of it.
already, because they've already set it up very early on.
Yes.
So I'm expecting it. But
Yeah.
the thing is with the Twilight of the Gods, they were like baiting you in
Yeah, they
the
they
whole time.
They got you in. I'm not kidding you. 5 minutes into the first episode, and then there's about 10 minutes of the third episode where it's like the whole journey, everything's done.
Yeah.
So you're like, right,
This is it.
this is it.
This is going to be a clean cut, one series done.
Yeah.
And then it gets to the end and it's not. And you're just
Yeah.
like, I wouldn't have minded a second. Look, more Twilight of the Gods sounds great to
Oh,
me.
absolutely.
I love Twilight of the Gods. It's
Yeah,
been great. But
yeah.
the problem is you've made me feel like it's
I
going to be done
know.
and then it's not, which I don't like.
Yeah, I know. Blue-Eyed Samurai, I can very much see the progression.
I can foresee it being...
the reason,
Yeah.
a good reason for there being more series.
Yeah, 100%. Couldn't agree
In
more.
my opinion, I could be totally wrong, by the way.
I think it'll have more series, and
Yeah.
I'm super excited for that.
Yeah, me too. Really good. I would absolutely recommend
Yeah,
it.
same.
Like, and a Netflix thing again, like an animated thing. Really, really, really,
Wow, the
really
animation.
cool, really great.
The animation's so good.
The animation's beautiful. Yeah,
I love the way it's very at times peaceful.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of like surrounding
Yeah,
area and
yeah.
just like traveling, and it's very serene and
Yeah.
tranquil.
And I love the characters.
And the combat
Yeah,
is
I-
brutal.
I love the characters. I don't want to know what happens to any of them, so please no spoilers. I love Ringo. I'm very fearful for Ringo.
Yeah,
Listen, very fearful.
I reckon Ringo's dead.
I'm very, very fearful
I reckon
for Ringo.
Ringo's dead.
I
dead
hope
as
more than anything Ringo is not. Yeah. Oh, no, 'cause-
La, 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 la. I didn't finish the word. YouTube, you can't do anything about it.
Yeah, I really, really hope Ringo lives through this, to be honest
Yeah,
with
so
you.
do I.
I can't foresee how, but I
Yeah.
hope so. So no spoilers.
No spoilers.
That's no spoilers from us because we have no idea. Also, there's not going to be any episode
Next
of
week.
the podcast next week.
As
Yes.
we are
Yes.
not here.
Yes.
We are
So
in London for Comic-Con.
yes, 28th and 31st. Oh my gosh, actually Halloween. Oh my goodness. There's not going to be any episodes out because the days that we record are the weekends, and we're going to be at Comic-Con.
Yeah.
So that's just a heads up. I'll post it everywhere so you know as well. And yeah, come see us at Comic-Con. Oh my goodness gracious me.
If you're going to Comic-Con, make sure that if you see us, say hi, don't be shy.
Yeah.
We'd love to meet you. We'd love to say hello to you. We'd love to say thank you to you. We'd love to give you a hug if that's what you're okay with.
Yep.
So
or a really enthusiastic thumbs up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'll look you dead in the eyes when I do it.
Yeah. No smiling.
No.
Yeah.
So yeah, please don't be scared to say hi.
Indeed.
If you are there, maybe tag us in the Discord or something like that. Let us know like you're looking for us, and we can find a way to hang out.
Yeah. Granted, I think the signal at Comic-Con is horrendous.
Doggers.
Absolutely shocking.
Do you remember
behavior.
trying to get in touch with Wabs last year?
I do. I remember trying to get in touch with Wabs. I remember it was horrible.
Dreadful.
Because there's no Wi-Fi. There is Wi-Fi, but everyone's on it, so it's really, really bad.
Yeah.
And there's no phone signal at all.
Yeah.
So, I recognize that maybe that's not possible, but
we can give it a good old college try.
Certainly. And please, if you see us around, we love meeting people. We love saying hi.
Yeah.
We're very extroverted. It would bring us so much joy to see you. So if you see us, don't think you're bothering us.
No.
Don't think anything like that. Please do come see us.
Come say hello.
And we're going to go to the 1D&D panel by Jeremy Crawford.
Yeah, 100%.
And I think we've got tickets for it. We're going to go to is it the Halloween one shot with the cast of Baldur's Gate as well?
Yeah, Baldy G's.
So come along, see us, come say hi.
Come say hi. It'd be great to see you.
Is there anything else?
Not really.
I don't think so. Is there?
Not really. We've got the one shot tonight, but that'll be over and done with by the time you see this.
Yeah.
And Comic-Con this weekend.
If you saw the one shot, let us know what you thought.
Yeah, down below in the comments, let us know.
Unless you're like, wow, you smell like beef, in which case maybe I don't want to hear that, actually.
I hate the way you play Dungeons
maybe
and Dragons.
actually I don't want to hear that.
I'm unsubscribing. Before we go, make sure you like, make sure you comment, make sure you subscribe. Go check out some merch, www.eldritchpodblast.co.uk. Patrons get 10% off. Talking about Patreon, link is in the description.
Yeah.
More exclusive content from me and Margaret about our campaign and some advice.
Yeah, indeed.
Thank you so much to all our patrons over at Patreon.
You have no idea how much we appreciate your support.
If you want to support us over at Patreon and gain access to our exclusive content,
like our D&D campaign updates and our extra monthly live streams,
click the link in the description. More about Patreon at the end of this video. Thank you.
So, sorry.
Oh, that was violent.
I'm sorry. Wow, that was probably horrible for a lot of people. I'm very sorry. Does anyone do this? It can be any liquid. Any liquid. I could drink too much liquid and it will make me gag.
Interesting.
It could be anything. It's especially with coffee. It's especially with hot drinks, actually.
Ooh, that ain't no way that's still hot.
No, it's not.
I made that about an hour ago.
No, it's not. It's especially coffee that makes me gag.
Yeah.
But I can do it. And water. Just pure water makes me. Water. Makes me gag.
Bit
Sorry.
Water.
Sorry about
that. Bit of water.
So, today we are doing... what are we doing?
Horrible house rules.
Horrible house rules. We're doing horrible house rules. These are these all from the Reddit? Yes, these are all from the Reddit. So if you have any horrible house rules you've played with the D&D or any rules in general you'd like to let us know about, there's a submission form in the link below.
There sure is.
Shall we just get into it?
Yeah.
So
I can tell how distracted you are.
I am.
I can tell how nervous you are.
I am. My mind is maybe not necessarily here right now.
That's okay.
My baby. Can you see him? I see him.
He's such a pudding.
Oh gosh.
He's a big pud.
Yeah, he's gonna fall off.
Nah, he's okay.
He's I've just realized in this moment how slow.
He's okay.
Oh dear. He's fine, I promise. Oh, daddy. All right. So the first horrible house rule is requiring a minimum amount of backstory. For example, I see your level 1 character is 17 years old. What are 3 major events that irrevocably changed their life forever? Or this campaign is going to be low power. With hit points and proficiency modifiers are halved, and with encounter CR literally off the chart, so you're required to have 1 or more backup characters at all times. And also, each character needs a minimum of 1.5 pages of backstory, including 3 major life events that cause them to move a new settlement, 3 close bonds to an NPC from that settlement, their profession, hobbies, interests, phobias, and ideologies. Also, you have to create the settlements, including their names, location on this blank map, their size, major exports, and what they're most famous for.
That is so. That is too much.
And
That's way too much.
And you know what? The thing is, if the players... Yeah, why don't you come over here?
Yeah, why don't
come to
you?
me?
Yeah,
Why
why
don't
don't you
you
have
come
a
to
little
me, honey?
spin? Have a little spin. Come on, have a little spin.
Yeah,
I
why
want
don't
Daddy
you
watches
come
my
to me?
go.
Why don't you come to
Go
me?
see Mummy.
Baby. Please, me. Yay! Oh, well.
Well, sort of. So,
Sorry,
right,
yeah.
the one thing,
Yes.
the two things right, okay, there's many things that I dislike about this, but one of the major things is, hey, I need you to have all of these things, which is 1,000,000% too much to ask for any normal, just, casual D&D TTRPG enjoyer.
Yeah.
But then to be like, also, by the way, your character's probably going to die.
Yeah, so you make sure you have a backup character
gonna
with
have to do-
exactly the same.
You're going to have to do two lots of that.
At least 2 lots of that. Yeah, and the thing is, this is a totally different thing if the player wants to do this.
If the player wants to
player
do it,
brings this
fine.
forward, that's fine. It's like anything. If someone wants to do it, that's fine. But I think to make it a requirement...
Yeah.
Now, there is something to be said about, for example, this is the only example I can pull from personally. When I DM'd very briefly, I sent out a questionnaire to people, and I was like, please fill this in because it will help me. It had some of these things on it, not like what settlement you're from, but like it was, where are you from? Why is your character adventuring?
What's your favorite color? What's your favorite song?
Yeah, does your character care for anyone? What are they scared of? Like, that was... So to be fair, in a lot of ways, I asked for something similar.
Nowhere near.
But
the thing is, it's just like this is the thing. What are 3 things that have like changed your life? Irrevocably changed your life, and it's just like some people don't want that. Consider Jester Laveau, campaign 2, Critical Role.
Mm-hmm.
Really had one thing that had happened to her in her life that wasn't really a massive thing. Not like other people, not like what happened to Ford and stuff like that. It was just sort of like she had to leave, but she sort of wanted to. She just wanted to go around like telling people about the Traveller. It's just like that's still a great character because they want to leave home and they want to travel the world and they want to do things and they want to help things. But you're telling me unless I have 3 things that have completely changed my existence, I can't join the campaign.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like this just talks to some people just don't want that.
Yeah, people don't want that.
And you know what? I actually think in hindsight, there was at least definitely a player who didn't want any of that for their character. Like when I sent them the questionnaire, it was very much like, oh yeah, well I'm not bothered. I don't know. My character's kind of just here for a good time, and I'm not bothered about any of this stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that's the exact point. Not everyone wants
it's like,
that.
I can still play D&D and TTRPG. I can still be heavily invested. I can still want to turn up every week. I can still enjoy myself without needing to give you the faction I come from, like NPCs, the ties that I have, what their names are, like 3 things that have happened to me. It's just like some people just want to turn up and have a little bit of fun. Like for me, you do have to have a backstory to come to my table. You have to have, a reason to adventure. It doesn't need to be tragic. It doesn't need to be sad. It doesn't need to be like the most world-shattering thing. As long as you want to adventure. Yeah. It's like I couldn't really care less what your backstory is.
Yeah,
as long as you have a reason to adventure and have a reason to want to help and have a reason to do things. It does help because it's not even that it does help, it's I can give you a story that I think will be engaging, that you will enjoy. From what you've given me. I'll do my best.
Totally. And I think we say this all the time. You learn as you play, and this is kind of a niche example, right? But as you play with the same group, which to be fair, I think a lot of D&D groups, when you find that
group, you find the group,
you stick together, and I know that can take time. But I think when you find that group, you start to understand what your players care for. Yeah. And it varies from character to character. You learn what that player cares for their character. Yeah. And I think when you do something as rigid as this, going 3 things that change them irrevocably, these settlements, 3 close bonds, give me their profession, their hobby, their phobias, their ideologies. And I think things like ideologies, I don't think it's
a bad thing to give.
Yeah, and I think you
But the thing is, I don't mind if you took a handful of these things that you're asking for, I'm like, hey, can I have these?
Yeah.
I think it's a fine thing. But the moment that I fall off is where you ask me for all of that, then also say your character's probably going to die. Make sure you have a
so
backup.
do it again.
So
for
do it
another
again.
one.
It's just
yeah, totally.
What's the
I'm
point
not going to put all this effort into
if you're just
going
to kill my character.
Yeah, and I think when you ask for things like professions, hobbies, their settlements, the names, the exports, what they're famous for, I think when you start to ask someone those questions, this is a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
This could be great for someone who is maybe brand new.
Yeah, who's struggling to think.
Yeah, someone who has no idea where to start with their characters, in the similar way that I think the bonds, ideals, and flaws in the player's handbook is a great place for new players to start.
Yeah.
That's where we started.
Yeah.
But on the other side of things, the other side of the sword is you pigeonhole people with this,
Yeah.
and you force people to bring in aspects to their characters
They
that
just don't care
They
about.
just don't care about.
Yeah.
For example, we played in a game where we had to pick. I'm going to use very broad terms. We had to pick like allegiances to certain families, I guess, and that. For me personally, this is maybe
Bores the shit out of you.
Clans fucking
and
bores the fuck out of me.
houses
Yeah.
and things like that. Like
Yeah, bores the shit out of me.
Yeah, it bores the ever-loving tits off you, doesn't it?
Don't know why, because I don't know why, but that's just a personal preference. And the thing is, I should have seen that red flag in the beginning. I should have never joined the campaign because the DM was upfront about that.
But at the same time, that was the first time you'd ever been in the campaign with houses and stuff like that.
True.
So you didn't really know.
True.
So you didn't really know. And the thing is, I said that about death there. Like, I don't mind there still being the essence of death, like the potential of death.
Yeah.
Like, if you play it wrong, things go wrong, like, death can happen. But when you're, like, literally in session 1 being like, hey, everything's halved, HP, proficiency bonus, everything, but then CR's going to be through the roof, it's just like, you're basically telling me my character's going to die imminently.
Yeah. And, the minimum of 1.5 pages, that is so subjective.
That's too much
like,
backstory.
you could never get 1.5 pages of backstory from me. Ever.
No, never.
That's that for me personally, I understand there's people who have upwards of 20 pages of their backstory, and that's all personal preference.
It's all personal preference.
Me, I mean, granted, mine are like 2 pages, but that's because I put really big pieces of art on them. If you actually broke down the information,
and the text is really big.
The text is really big. If you broke down the actual information I put on, but that's just my preference of writing my backstory. I put things in the past, the present, and the future, and my relationships, and that's all bullet points, But that's just how I do it.
Yeah, to me, if I had fucking 4 people come to me, that's how big my group is, with 1.5 pages of backstory each, 6 pages of backstory, too long. It's too long for me. Like, I think the longest backstories I get usually, it's strange with you because we talk about your backstory.
Yeah.
To the point where I almost don't even need you to write it down because we live together.
Yeah, I like to for my sake, though.
Yeah, and I'll still read it, but by the time I've read it, I already know everything.
Yeah,
so
totally.
It doesn't really matter. When it comes to Josh, it's a conversation in the car.
Yeah.
Josh will be like, "Hey, my character does this.
Yeah.
And they're from here.
Yeah.
And this is their parents.
Yeah.
And I'm like, sick.
Cool.
Abby will give me probably a page.
Yeah.
Matthew, I think Matthew's probably the one who gives me the most, and it's probably about a page.
Yeah.
So I probably get about 2 pages of backstory between 4 players.
Yeah.
But it's just, what I mean? I can't say that 1.5 pages is too much because
what a weird metric to put on
it's
it.
subjective.
Like
It's
1.5 pages.
If you've got 1.5 pages of information that me as a dungeon master needs to know,
yeah, totally.
then write it out.
Absolutely.
But
you're gonna need it for this, by the way. Hey, you're gonna need it for all of this.
I don't need to know
Yeah.
half of the information that this dungeon master is asking for here.
Yeah.
I just don't need to know that.
Yeah, I think, and I understand the DM, because even in my questionnaire, I was like, where are you from? So I could accommodate that and put it on the map. But I understand the DM wanting the players to be like, give me a settlement, you tell me where you want it, give me your exports, give me what they're famous for. I understand that because you probably want to build a world around your characters, right?
Yeah.
I get it, but some people just don't give a fuck.
Some people don't want
being
that.
required to do that.
Yeah.
Like, I think I would probably enjoy doing some of this.
Yeah.
But man, a profession, I'm not interested at all.
Yeah, and also, by the way, your character's probably gonna die.
Yeah. And hey, you know my opinions on character. I'm not interested
Your proficiency
at all.
bonus is halved.
Yeah.
And your
oh my
HP
god.
is halved.
Yeah. So low power, hit points and proficiency modifiers halved, with the encounter CR literally off the chart. What's the point?
What's the point?
What's the point?
What's the point?
Why are you making people spend however much time writing 1.5
Probably
pages
hours,
minimum?
if not days.
Why are you making people do that?
If you're just gonna kill them.
To just kill them to the point where you're like, yeah. Make a backup character, by the way.
Yeah, it's like I get the whole make a backup character thing. It's like if you want really hard campaigns where people are probably gonna die and there's gonna be more characters, fine. But I think these two are polar opposites trying to be jammed together.
I totally agree.
It's like if you want to kill your players all the time and stuff like that, fine. Don't make them have in-depth fucking page-and-a-half backstories where they thought about exports of where they're from.
Yeah.
If you're just gonna kill them off.
Yeah, and then when you start thinking, whether you want to or not, when you start thinking about your character in the backstory, you get excited.
You do,
and you start thinking about the possibilities. And I think that I don't understand why you would make players put so much work in if your sole intention is to kill them off, so they have to bring in a new character.
I remember when I made a character and turned up to a session 0. I put a lot of effort into the backstory. Turned up to a session 1. My character died. Luckily, they saved me with heroic inspiration. Oh, you little stretchy man.
He's so cute.
They saved me with heroic inspiration, but the moment where before they saved me with heroic inspiration, I was like, what was the point?
Because we spent hours with this DM. Hours and hours.
So what was the point in me making this character if you're just going to kill me in session 1?
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Agreed. Right. This next one is the normal guy class. Your hit dice is 1. Your ability score maximum is 10. And at level 20, you get your first level feature of class of your choice. This player could not fathom why I thought other players might not want them at the table.
Level 20, you get your class feature, and you have 20 hit points?
Mm-hmm.
What?
Mm-hmm.
That's insane.
Like that.
Oh, he's fired.
It's sulfurous.
Oh,
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. Oh no.
20 hit points at level 20,
mm-hmm.
and that's when you get your class.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you talking about?
The thing is, who wants to play that?
No one.
The thing is, obviously someone did. And this DM had to be like, listen, other players aren't going to want that. They're not going to want that.
They're not going to want to be in a party with you.
No. God, no.
You're going
to
be fucking useless.
Yeah, God, no. You are going to be a liability every single time.
You're going to die every combat.
Easily. Like, without a shadow of a doubt.
Every combat, you're going to die.
You're worse than a peasant.
Yeah, way worse than a peasant.
Yeah.
At least peasants have like fucking 7 hit points or something, or whatever it is. 1 hit point at level 1.
Yeah.
20 hit points.
Yeah.
At
And at level 20,
20,
you get your first level feature. And you know what? Sorry, did you want that fan on still?
No.
I think
He's licking.
No.
Go on, Karen.
I can see where this is born from slightly. Have you the rhetoric that new players, they're like, this is razor claw sharp hand,
Yeah.
and they felled a dragon once, and
then stood next to them is the person who's played 1 million times, and they're like,
I'm a mage hand with a baguette.
I'm fat buckle.
Yeah, I'm fat buck. I'm a mage hand with a baguette. I totally get it. Like, I feel like the more you play D&D, the less serious you can get about it.
Yeah. The less, because you enjoy the silly of it.
Absolutely.
Because you know how serious it can get, and sometimes
totally
having that like lack of seriousness can be quite fun.
Yes, indeed.
But
could never be me. But I get it. I understand it totally.
I totally get it.
I understand in the same way that there is the power fantasy.
Fantasy. No.
That there is the, what is it? The weakling. I don't know what it's called.
The underdog.
That type of fantasy as well, and I get it.
Yeah, like the one that defies all the odds.
Yeah, totally.
And like I get it, but the thing is, what I would do, and the thing is, I wouldn't say what I would do because I would never do it.
No.
But what I think is better is having a level 0.
Yes.
Where you become, through like the first session where you're all together and you sort of do something a little bit heroic as peasants and normal people without really anything but a sword and
Yeah.
a wand or something like that, you, after the first session, get level 1. There you go. What about you don't get level 1
Yeah.
till level 20?
This is being a hindrance. Listen, this would never work. This
Never.
would never, ever, ever work.
It would never work in a group where there's actual players.
Yeah, never. This would never work. I don't think in any group this would ever work. Like, let's be honest. I hope that this was just like a silly joke, right? Because this would never work. And there was definitely when I DM'd, there was a player who was very at the time obsessed with the the underdog. Like, they didn't want to have a weapon. They didn't want to start with anything. They wanted to basically be level 0. And for me, as a new DM who had never DM'd before, who was struggling to balance things anyway, I feel like the whole underdog thing, you don't realize how much that can throw off the balance of
the party,
of the whole party, like to a level that's really hard, especially for a new DM.
Yeah. I think that when you've got, but it's the same as always. It's like you can have a bunch of people who want to be level 0 and then get level 1.
Yeah,
and it's
totally.
a slow climb. But then if you've got somebody who's like, man, I can't wait to get level fucking 3 so I can get my subclass.
Me.
And then I'm going to multi-class here and then I'm going to do this and I'm going to have all these weapons for all these different weapon masteries and like really like trying to make the character powerful.
Yeah.
When you have both of them in the same group, it's a disaster.
It is. Yeah, it is really hard. Yeah, totally.
It's a disaster.
And I think, again, this could just be done with flavor.
Yeah.
This could totally be done with flavor.
Just do it with descriptors and context and like, this person's a fighter, a champion fighter or something like that, who is literally just a person with a sword and a dream and a goal, and that's what they care about. And it's just, you don't have to have fucking 20 hit points at level 20 and then only get your class feature at level 20 when the game's over.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to be useless, you're going to be a hindrance, you're going to make the party like struggle because of this.
Yeah. Dog's looking so strange over there.
He's a little bit funny.
Why is he looking like that?
He's just mooching around.
He stood like a brick shit house.
He's trundling.
Are you coming up, honey? Are you walking away?
You're walking around.
All right, okay. Yeah, no, this would never work.
Dog shit.
Dog shit. That would never, ever,
Dog
ever
shit.
work. Ever. All right, the next one is my DM.
Any of these horrible house rules?
Oh gosh.
If you use them
yes,
and they work at your table,
truly, yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Don't listen to what we're
Do
saying.
not,
We're
no.
just having a bit of fun. We're just having a bit of crack. We're just giving our opinion.
Yep.
If for whatever reason they work at your table, that's absolutely fine. That goes for everything we talk about in this episode.
If you want to play that character
and it works at your table,
absolutely.
Don't care about what we say.
Of course. Absolutely.
D&D is different for every single table, so don't listen to us.
Definitely, yes. Please disregard everything we said if that's the case, The next one is my DM homebrewed a rule for a spell and I hate it. So I'm playing an Arcane Trickster Rogue using the new 5e 2024 rules. I'm choosing to focus on utility spells and keeping my damage output to my weapons. I figured Find Familiar could be a pretty fun and useful spell to have since it can give me plenty of options for long distance infiltration and spying.
Mm-hmm.
My DM, who really has been great so far, read over how Find Familiar works in the new rules and decided he doesn't like the 0 penalty for having my familiar die. His homebrew rule is that every time my familiar dies, I take half its HP and soul damage, rounded up permanently until I resummon it. This totally killed the idea for me, and now I'm just going to choose a different spell. My issue is I feel it ruins the usefulness of the spell and debuffs me too hard, seeing as I'm only level 4 at the minute. I DM plenty, so I know all too well that what the DM says goes. If that's what he wants to happen, fine. Like I said, I'm just going to pick a different spell. But I'm just slightly annoyed because I really could have had a lot of fun role-playing, having a pet, and using it for all sorts of things. What do you guys think? Is this homebrew reasonable, or is it a bad call?
How much damage do they take?
They take half its HP and soul damage, and looking at the new 5e, the new 1D&D stat blocks for them, I think the max HP they have is like 6.
So it's 3 damage.
Yeah, and I think I actually think I'm maybe elaborating a little bit much with how much they have, to be honest with you.
And is there a cost as well?
It's taken down from 50 gold to 25 gold.
Okay, but I don't think that's bad. I think 25 gold every time you want to summon your familiar, and it's not got a huge amount of hit points. It's like, the thing is, familiars are complicated for so many reasons. because yes, they can fucking. Can they still use the help action? I feel like
They can still
they
use
can still use the help action. A lot of people just use them for the help action. They would get the owl out, use the help action.
Yeah, so an owl, tiny beast, AC 11, HP 1. What about a cat? Because I know cat is Sorry, I'm holding this book like an actual troglodyte.
They would fly in, give the help action, bonus action fly by away, or like fly away without provoking an attack of opportunity, which can get annoying because then it's like I've got to waste an attack on it. I've got to catch it in an AoE to kill it.
Yeah.
And it's giving the person advantage on every single attack, so it is a little bit annoying. But a lot of people like to just use familiars for infiltration.
Yeah.
For scouting ahead.
Which is what it sounds like OP wanted to do.
Yeah, and this is the thing, I think you need to communicate, because I think a lot of Dungeon Masters have been stung by people who use it that way, and to me, not a big fan of that. Like, it is a little bit cheesy.
I can't find cat. Don't know why.
Don't worry
Can't find cat. But yeah, owl has one. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like familiars can be a little cheesy
Totally.
sometimes.
Totally. Absolutely.
And then, the thing is, if you're going to use it in combat to get advantage, then it is going to be a target for the Dungeon Master.
Yeah.
And then if you target it, because I remember playing with a guy who would use it in the most cheesy way possible, and then the Dungeon Master would target it and kill it, and then the player would be like, oh my god, I can't believe you've done this again. Oh my god. Like, whinging like fuck. It's just like, hey, if it's going to help you in combat, then it's targetable.
Yeah.
If you don't want to use it in combat, then let's say it's not targetable, and it is just an infiltration thing. And then, if it dies in infiltration, then fair enough.
Yeah, and then
But, it's not targetable in combat. It doesn't catch strays of AoEs. It's just not there.
Yeah.
And things like that. But, role-playing with it, having a bond with it, having a friend.
Totally.
It's just like some people just want that and then want none of the power because they just don't give a fuck about it.
Yeah, I think what's happened here is there's been maybe either not clear enough communication or a miscommunication for what the rogue genuinely wanted it for, right? Like, to be fair, they say I wanted it for infiltration, but I also would have really enjoyed role-playing having a pet. But I think those two things can be the same thing, to be so honest with you. I think this is just a lack of communication around what it is. Yeah. I honestly, I think, I personally don't think the penalty to the HP is that much of a problem.
It's
I understand
what, 1 HP, 3 HP?
Yeah,
so
I understand that it's permanently until you resummon him. I get that.
That stinks a little bit.
Yeah, I get that. Especially if you're in a position to not have the gold or the material costs, like the incense. I get it.
In a level 4, 3 HP is a lot.
Yeah, I agree, especially for a rogue, to be honest with you, depending on how you've stacked your hit points.
Yeah,
your
might not
stats.
put much in con.
Yeah, like I think the HP for me personally isn't a big deal, but I'm also not OP, and if OP was really looking forward to having this pet, I can totally see why they're bummed out, and it's a shame that they're like, it's ruined the fun for me, because they're, regardless of what the punishment is.
Yeah, the punishment doesn't seem bad, but it's the fact that you're getting punished.
Yes, I completely agree.
Is the problem.
Yeah, I think I can see reason in both sides of this. Honestly,
I can't see the reason why the Dungeon Master's done this.
I think it's because the Dungeon Master has maybe a different idea of what. I mean, I also do not agree with nerfing or punishing players for things, but I can see maybe where the DM's coming from.
Then just communicate.
Yeah,
it's like,
that's it.
Hey, I'm putting this penalty on. It's just like, why?
Yeah.
Because I had a person in my last game who used it, and every time I killed it, they would whinge about it, and it's a problem spell for me. Hey, I'm not going to use it like that. I really just want a pet.
Yeah.
And maybe to like scout and things like that.
I think even hearing, why do you think that there has to be a penalty? I think even the DM just talking out why they don't like the fact that there's zero penalty.
So we're on the same page.
Totally. Yeah. I think even just that conversation, I think there's just a miscommunication of what OP wants.
Yeah.
And what DM has done.
I agree.
And I hope that I feel for OP.
I feel for OP because you have a character like idea, and especially ones with pets. Like it can be like a really huge part.
Totally.
Of their character.
Yeah.
Like the character build, the character identity.
Yeah.
They have like a close bond with this pet. And I just think that like the Dungeon Master obviously has a problem with the spell. And, the cost is now halved. Oh, it's gotten way more powerful. So it's not got more powerful. It just costs less.
Yeah.
It's just like, but also you're the Dungeon Master who dictates how much gold the party gets. So
totally.
It's up to you anyway. So why are we putting nerfs on it? If you don't want them to have the spell, then you could just give them slightly less gold so they can't summon it all the time.
Are arcane tricksters ritual casters? Probably not, right?
I don't think so.
Because
No, they're not.
I mean, granted, it is a first level spell, but
No,
arcane
no.
tricksters are half casters, so they have far less spells at far lower levels as well.
Yeah.
So they'd have to use a spell slot.
Oh,
to get them out, as well as having access to the materials and the money. You know,
Yeah.
like I think that in itself is penalty enough for
Yeah.
having to summon the familiar.
I just think it's a lack of communication, and I don't even think the nerfs are bad, but it's just like, but why am I getting nerfed?
Me. No.
Oh my god! Did you just headbutt Daddy's mic?
Oh no.
You just headbutt Daddy's mic.
Yeah, I really hope that
Sure,
OP
it's
and
like,
DM can just
Oh my god.
can have a conversation and at least be on the same page.
Yeah, I
And
don't think that.
as
I don't think 50 gold to 25 gold is a problem,
no.
and I don't even think that the fucking HP thing is that much of a
No,
problem.
me neither. It's just the fact that there's a penalty. Like,
why?
I think anytime you as the DM, you want to do something like this, you incur a further punishment, cost, etc., damage, whatever, to a player. You should explain kind of the reasoning behind doing it, so there isn't any hard feelings.
Yeah.
You know?
You got something on your leg there. Yeah, you got a little sore on your leg, haven't you?
No, does he?
Yeah, on the top of his leg.
Oh dear me. Yeah. The next one is you have to roll initiative every round.
No.
You have -10 to your initiative rolls anytime you plan to cast a spell, and you had to declare your spell and pick a target for your spell at the top of each round. Every AoE spell would always miss because enemies would move.
Yeah, because the Dungeon Master knows exactly where they're going to target them.
Obviously. And if the target of a single target spell died before your turn, you still lose the spell slot anyway.
This is just like, I remember in Wybers is new at the table at the minute, and he stayed till the end of the campaign. And I'm a very open dungeon master. It's like, you tell me a plan.
Yeah.
I'm not going to use that against you. That knowledge isn't that knowledge is for me, Jack, not my bad guys. Like, they don't know what you've said. So, like, I remember Josh was like, I've got a plan. And I was like, yeah. And he was like, yeah. And he was going to tell me. And Webs was like, don't tell him. And I was like, hey, like, it's okay. Around here, like, we don't do that. We're not bothered.
Around these parts,
like, we look after each other. We're not here to fuck each other over. We're here to have a good time and tell a story. It's just like, that is a absolute guaranteed way to have your players never trust you.
Yeah.
I'm going to cast Fireball here. Oh, yeah. Well, all the enemies are actually going to move
oh gosh,
of
for
there.
some reason
They're actually going to create a perfect circle.
Yes, strangely
20-foot
enough.
diameter
Yes,
around the fireball.
interesting. And you know what? Couple that with the fact that you get -10 initiative.
-10?
So every single time, almost guaranteed, unless maybe the enemy's casting a spell, I wonder if the enemies have to do the same thing as well. Do the enemies
surely.
have to announce
Yeah, but the
that
thing
they're...
is, the Dungeon Master can just never run any spellcasters.
True.
They just don't need to run any spellcasters.
True.
But that's it. You have a -10. If you want to cast Fireball, you have a -10. Okay, well, I got a 2 on initiative. Good. All of my enemies are going to move out of the radius. And now you can cast Fireball. It's like, well, I don't really want to. It's just like, well, you said you're going to do it.
Yeah, you know what? Just say you don't like spellcasters.
Just say...
hey, just say you don't like running for spellcasters.
Just say you don't know how to balance combat.
Yeah, just that, like, and there is, by the way, absolutely no shame in that. Balancing combat
We've all been bad at it at times.
Is, in my opinion, and I think a lot of people's opinion,
I think
the hardest part of being a DM.
99% of people would agree.
Yeah.
I think.
Balance is unbelievably hard.
So hard. And the thing is, I think that every time I come to combat, I like to pre-roll initiatives.
Yeah.
Because it takes fucking forever to sort out.
Yeah, especially if there's multiple things.
Like, if you've got, like, I've got 4 players, so, you know, they roll initiative. I roll initiative for a number of my enemies. Maybe there's 3, 4 enemies. That's 8 people in
initiative. And at the end, we had 5, and we had an NPC with us as well.
Yeah, so that was 6 people in initiative, plus my bad guys.
Yeah.
And then, you know, all right, what did you get? Okay. Shuffling them all around, putting my bad guys in. What's your dexterity modifier? Could you imagine slowing combat down?
God.
Every round to do that, just because you're scared of people casting spells.
God, honestly, every single round, and you know we've heard many iterations of rolling initiative every round, right?
Do you want to know what would feel better? Counterspell.
Yeah, true.
I'd prefer to be counterspelled than have
True.
all of this bullshit to try and balance casters.
Yeah, because the thing is, if the target of the single target spell dies, you still lose the spell slot aneway. So you know,
So at least I have a hope in hell
yeah.
that a spell might go off when I get counter spells.
Yeah, you know, like, and again, you hear all the time, oh, the marshals versus spellcasters. We need to nerf spellcasters. Hey, this isn't the way.
It's not the way. The thing is, in 1D&D in 2024, the gap is closed.
Yeah.
It is still there towards high-end play
of
because,
course.
you know, hitting things with the sword cannot do the same as
of course.
Wish and Dream and Simulacrum and Meteor Storm and things like that. Just like we'll never meet that level of play. But at the same time, at low levels of play, it is so much more balanced now, and even mid-tier play and even into high-tier play, it doesn't feel as bad. So you don't need to do anything like this anymore because the book's done it for you. So don't do this.
Yeah, man, and it's just egregious for the -10. You have to announce the spell, and then the enemies could just move
All
out
the
the spell
enemies
because
just
they
move
know
out.
where it's gonna go.
Yeah.
Like that. That to me does not sound like.
Do you
a
know
fun
what
time.
I'd prefer?
Go on.
I'd prefer the dropping it. The drop,
just getting it and just dropping it somewhere.
getting the 20-foot diameter sphere and then dropping it, and wherever it lands, it lands.
I agree.
I'd prefer that over this.
Hey, I just prefer to be told no spellcasters.
Yeah,
I just rather at session 0 be say, hey, you're not playing a spellcaster.
Hey,
nobody's playing.
It's no spellcasters.
Yeah. Hey, look, and you know, I personally don't agree with
banning anything.
Yeah. But it's the DM's prerogative. If the DM wants to run a game where there's no spellcasters, that's none of my fucking business. That has nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
Like I respect that because it's not my game. Like it would be so much easier if the DM just said no spellcasters.
No spellcasters.
Because then you play a spellcaster and we all do it. We all have an idea of how badass our character's going to be. And then when you cast the thing like the fireball, how cool it's going to be. And then just fucking...
none of it ever goes off.
Yeah, ever, by the way.
Ever.
I can't ever foresee... like an AoE at least.
Yeah.
You know, maybe a targeted spell, sure.
The only way that it happens is if, you know, they get knocked prone and can't get out of it.
Yeah.
They're like restrained and can't get out of it.
Yes.
So it's just like there's no way for them to actually leave. Maybe the map is so small that you can't leave.
Yes. Yeah. Maybe
that's the only time you get a fireball.
And you know, like I understand that working tactically with your team to be like, okay, I'm going to grapple this person, or I'm going to cast hold person on them. I'm going to put spike growth down, and then you can do the AOE. You know, like
we love shit like that.
That's good
we love
fun.
coordinating
That's
with
fun.
people. It's good fun.
But to have to do that every time, to even have the hopes of getting a spell off when you're a spellcaster, stinks.
Yeah, stinks.
Absolutely
stinky,
stinks.
smelly skeletons
Yeah.
send shivers down my spine.
I can't imagine that this is fun for anyone. But again, you know, if it's made it onto a Reddit where someone's complaining about horrible house rules, but you know, if everyone enjoyed it, then that's fair enough.
I don't imagine anyone enjoys this.
No, I can't.
Apart from the Dungeon Master, when they Fortnite dance on all the spellcasters.
And even then, God, that feels like cheating.
Yeah, it's cheating.
Yeah,
it's just making up fucking rules so you can have a better time as a Dungeon Master.
Yeah.
It stinks.
Yeah. The next one is all the enemies had player class levels rather than monster stat blocks, which might have already made them too powerful.
I do this now and then.
Yeah.
I do this for prominent bad guys who I actually genuinely think would be a class.
Yeah.
Like, in the last fight, you went up against 2 leveled NPCs.
Yes.
They were both 15th level.
Yeah.
And you were all 10th level, so I think it was probably still in your favor, but there was obviously a second phase. But I do it now and then for some enemies because it is strong. Like, it is strong. Like, for them to have, like, spell slots and stuff like that. Because when you get a monster stat block, some things have, like, can cast this at will, can cast this once a day, can cast this 3 times a day. They don't have as many.
Yeah.
But that's probably because they're probably not going to have that many rounds in combat.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, true.
I do it now and then, but I would not do it for every fight.
Yeah, like, you know.
First of all, takes fucking forever.
Yeah, you know what? I was going to say, you know, I have no insight on this because I'm not a DM and I don't really understand, you know, the balancing of it.
Yeah.
But, you know, monster stat blocks are that, you know, the monster manual's there for a reason as well. I can't imagine having to build out. God, I struggle building out just one character that I'm going to play for hopefully the duration of the campaign. Like, having to build out every single time the enemy stat block. must be so much.
It's hard. It is hard, yeah.
And
But
I'm assuming this is only if you're going up against like something that could have a class, right?
yeah, because like this is the thing. Some
if
things
you want to play against like a wolf.
yeah, it's not gonna have a class, is it?
Yeah.
But like even some
It's a moon druid. Sorry.
yeah, unless it's Madrid. Some enemies are just like guards.
Yeah.
It's not a proper stat block. Some enemies are like death knights.
Yeah.
But they're not proper enemies. Sometimes it's just so thematic that they aren't basically an adversarial adventurer who's been through their life, who's learned things, who's devoted themselves to God, who's an assassin rogue or something like that, who is like, this is... And sometimes I'll take like abilities out that I don't like and put different things in.
Yeah.
But every enemy is... do you want to know what? More than anything, yeah, it would. The power of it is a lot, but it would just take fucking forever. So if you want to do it, fair enough. Be careful though, because it will be strong.
Yeah.
And it will take you a long time to do every enemy.
Yeah. I can't attest to the strength of it, but I can imagine it must take fucking forever to do it.
It is strong. It is strong.
Oh goodness! And he's gone.
And
he's gone. Just like that.
Just like that.
Just like that. He's gone. Where's he going? He's trundling away. God, look at them stiff old legs, huh?
Yeah.
Oh dear me. Yeah. The next one.
So the things I don't hate that one.
Yeah.
It's fine, but you are gonna get to the point where you run into enemies that just can't have stat blocks. It's like a dragon can't have a player stat block.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. The next one is, there was the glove that I found in a treasure pile after rolling a nat 20 on investigation. The DM confirmed that it would only be found on a natural 20, which then bound itself to my arm the moment I put it on and couldn't be removed with anything short of the permission from the god who empowered it in the first place. That means no remove curse, no greater
I mean...
No greater restoration,
we
etc.
grest the restoration. When we shorten it down, it's not restoration, it's
Grester.
Grester. If you knock the thingy again.
Oh dear. And the effects of the glove are as follows. A reduction to my AC. Anytime I tried to heal someone, it would instead deal damage to them.
Oh my god.
Something else I've forgotten that was extremely detrimental. And did I mention that I was the fucking life cleric and the party's only healer?
Well, do you want to know what? That's why you got the glove. Do you want to know what? Your dungeon master was sick of how much healing you were cranking out, and they were like, hey, fuck you, here's a glove.
Man, and you know what? Once again, this is just not the right way to go about it.
It's just not the right way to go about it.
It's just not the right way to do
I
it.
I can't deal with your healing. You're pumping out so much healing, and I wasn't expecting it.
Yeah.
I think I might try and test out some slightly harder combats to see if like I can... like deal, like counteract your healing a little bit.
Yeah.
To make your healing feel like really worth it.
Yeah.
Hey, is there any chance that you could like... I don't think ever asking somebody to change class.
No, I
it's
agree.
like, can you help me figure out how to deal with how much healing you put out? Because you put out a lot of healing.
Totally. Can we sit down together and look at your abilities so I can fully understand what you have, how often you have it, what it does?
Yeah, how I can like manage it so like combats do feel scary still.
Because again, there's nothing shameful in saying that.
Yeah.
At all.
Like
nothing.
Like people when the Twilight Cleric came out. I mean, it's like people understand it now, but in comparison to any healing that was ever before it, it was unbelievable. But that's because fucking healing in 5e was terrible. 1D and D in 2024, like the basic spells give you 2 hit dice plus modifiers.
Yes.
So, what about instead giving them the glove?
Hey, how about?
What do we reckon?
How about we say it's only on a natural 20?
Hey, you only found it on a natural 20.
So congrats.
Well done, you.
You pick it up, it immediately attaches to you, and it can't be removed. You have to get permission from a god.
Which you've never spoken to.
You get less AC, and when you try to heal someone, you actually hurt them instead.
Yeah.
That's the counterpoint. That's the... perfect.
Do my damaging spells now heal, though?
Perfect. What do you think?
Nah. I don't think so.
And you know what? Again, like... The thing is, things like this are so far more transparent than the DM thinks they are. You know,
the DM's like, man, I'm such a fucking
DM's like, all right, could have been anyone who found it, and I feel like the whole it could only be found on natural 20. I feel like is a lie.
It's also a fucking lie.
I feel like that's a lie.
It's a lie, and it's just like, do you want to know what? It might be fun and funny for 5 minutes,
Yeah.
or like one combat,
Yeah.
and then hey, I've got remove curse, it's gone.
Yeah.
Oh hey, great restoration, it's gone.
Yeah.
But it tells a story. Maybe a god is trying to reach out. Maybe a
Yeah.
god's trying to get attention. Maybe there's a god that is trying to like form a cult of the fucking I don't know. And it's like a storytelling piece that has caught your attention because of how evil it is or how like destructive it is. Fine. But you weren't trying to do that.
Yeah. And, you know, I also think, like, any time it includes players potentially hurting other players, like characters hurting other characters, sorry, I think that kind of puts a position where it's like you're setting them up. Yeah, and, you know, I would like to hope that the player realized the first time they healed someone, it dealt damage to someone and they didn't do it again. But, you know, if for whatever reason it kept happening, that means that there's going to eventually be animosity towards the cleric about it.
Yeah.
Right? Through no fault of their own, through something that the DM has set up. And I think the DM, when I hear things like this, I wonder if the DM thinks they're being like
clever.
Like being covert with this and being like, well, you only found it on a natural 20, so gosh, what a strange coinky dink that it landed on you, and gosh, oh no, it does damage when you heal people, and you know, I think I don't know if they think they're being like slick with it,
clever and slick, and
but it's so obvious what's going on.
It's so obvious. It's like you can't balance it, and it's just look. There's no shame in it. There's no shame in it.
Absolutely not.
And I think we just need to fucking really normalize that.
Yeah.
The fact that healing's not good in 5e. So a lot of DMs and a lot of people don't like playing healers. So when you get somebody who wants to come in and crank the healing and do nothing but healing, Dungeon Masters are like, how do I deal with this?
Yeah, which I think is actually honestly a natural reaction.
Super normal, super natural, but let's fucking just talk to each other about the fact that we can't balance it and there's no shame in it.
Absolutely.
And normalize the fact that we have problems instead of just fucking shitting on our players.
Yeah, this is just such a weird roundabout way of trying to deal with a problem without actually dealing with the problem.
Dealing with it
because
at all.
OP's come to Reddit and is like, did I fucking mention I was the healer, by the way?
Yeah.
You know, they know. They know.
They
know
know
the second they
You're
saw
not
it, they
being
knew.
smart. You're not being clever. It's like, we know, we get
like,
it.
Nothing, absolutely nothing to be ashamed of about not being able to balance something.
Yeah, especially
properly.
when somebody blindsides you with
Of
something
course.
like a life
Of
cleric,
course,
with
of
something
course.
like a peace cleric, with something like a twilight cleric.
Yeah, of course.
Like with something like a stars druid that only plays chalice or something like that.
Something like a shepherd druid that only gets out the unicorn totem.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and cranks the healing and fucking really like lays down good AoE healing, good single target healing. Like people just shit the bed and they don't know how to deal with it, and then they do fucking stupid things like this instead of talking to people.
Yeah, no shame in that, but there's shame in this.
There's shame in this.
Yeah, there's shame in this.
There's shame in this because you're just not being honest.
Yeah, indeed.
Annoying.
All right, hey, if you have an Alexa, turn the volume down. Alexa, volume down. Sorry. We put the music on when the fan was on and it just got too loud. So this is the penultimate.
Let's go.
This is second to last. This is 1d6 plus wisdom healing cantrip that only she could use and not something to add to the world. It was her invention, so therefore no one in the party or any other NPCs could ever use it.
It's still not a good idea.
No. It's still not a good idea. And like, you know, I think what a weird thing to only want something. Well, no, it's not. It's not weird to only want something for you, to be fair. But like,
look, any healing cantrip.
Totally.
Any healing cantrip, disaster.
Oh God! Oh no, God, no!
Because,
absolutely.
And you know, it's a good thing that you only gave it to one person that only one person can use, and nobody else could ever use it. But still, one person being able to use it is too much.
Yeah.
Because a healing cantrip, you're gonna take 1 billion damage in the fight, and you're gonna be level 10, and you're gonna have like 100 hit points each or something like that. And then they're gonna sit down for a lot of. They're not even gonna short rest. They're gonna sit down. They're gonna go, and they're gonna cast the cantrip over and over again until you're full. Right, next person gonna cast it on them, and then they're gonna just cantrip themselves to full.
Yeah.
Because there's no limit use on it, and it's just gonna be fucking dreadful.
Yeah. And you know, I think the whole like only she could use it, and it wasn't something to add to the world, and it was her invention, so no one else could use it. Like I think when you're, I don't know, it's not weird to want something for yourself. To be fair,
I don't think so.
And I don't know. I feel like the vibe I'm getting from this is I only want to be able to do the cool thing and no one else can.
Yeah, and that's fine. I think having unique character stuff, it's just like people who don't like when, oh, I'm playing a fighter. Oh, hey, I'm playing a fighter too, and then being like, oh, like I want to action surge, and I want to be the guy who, you know, has the big AC, and I'm the guy who crits on the 19, or I'm the guy who has the battle master maneuvers, and like it's when people eat a slice of your pie, like it does sometimes feel bad.
Yeah.
I understand that sometimes it cannot feel bad because you can play a cleric in two different ways and a fighter in two different ways, and you can barely even touch each other's toes.
Yeah.
But some people don't like it, and I totally am fine with that. Like, it's my thing. That's my thing. And, you know, if you invented it and it's in your backstory that you did a thing, it's like that thing where somebody turned up with the gun, with that person who was like, oh, you know, in this world, I invented guns.
Yeah.
Like, it's my thing. Like, I'm the first, like, person who's ever built a gun. And then somebody else was like, hey, I've got a gun. It's just like,
well, you wouldn't.
Well, you don't, though.
Yeah, well, you wouldn't.
Because that's my thing.
Well, you wouldn't. Yeah. You know what? Upon second reading of this, I actually don't think there's anything wrong with wanting something for yourself, to be honest with you. But, you know, a 1d6 plus wisdom healing cantrip, like, you know, healing word is 1d4 plus the mod, and then cure wounds is 1d8. And granted, they're both first level spells, but 1d6 plus your wisdom. And I'm assuming they're going to be a wisdom build.
Push your modifier, whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's a game breaker. Yeah. It's a game breaker. It just is. It's just no matter the action economy you get. Yeah, it might be shite in fights.
Yes.
It might be like fucking an action. Yeah. And it's worse than cure wounds. Yes. You would never ever use it.
Yeah.
But as soon as you give it cantrip, the game's broken.
And it's also kind of a guarantee, right, that no one will stay down. You know, no one will really be on death saves because, you know, at least I can only speaking from experience with us, you know, we never really have a dedicated healer. We have someone who could heal.
You all have like bits and bobs here and there.
Yeah. And, you know, once those spell slots are gone, the healing is gone unless we have health potions, etc. But, you know, in a situation like this, like, let's say really hard fight, all spell slots are gone, no healing left. Someone's on death saves, and it's like, oh god! But you know, you would never have that with a cantrip because you could pump a cantrip whenever.
The only thing that would get you is if you go down and then, you know, get hit a number of times before it puts that person's turn. That's the only time.
Yeah, totally.
That it happens.
Oh,
so yeah, healing cantrips, never a good idea. Do not put them in the game.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I'd be interested to see what you guys think about that.
And the whole thing is, wanting something for yourself's fine.
No, like, I agree.
As long as it's not something like, hey, magic's mine.
Yeah.
Hey, sword's mine. Can't be that. But it's like, you know, something maybe a little bit obscure, like, hey, what's the crack about guns in this world? Is there guns? There's no guns. Hey, can I have invented the first gun? Yeah. Hey, this other person turns up with the gun. It's just like,
magic, mine.
Magic, that's mine.
Magic is my thing.
You can't cast magic. Hey, weapons, mine.
All right, this is the last one.
Yay.
Admittedly me, but I basically had an item that could turn necrotic damage aimed at me into healing once a day as a reaction. So I asked
cool as hell.
If I could just shoot myself with blight as an action and then use my reaction to absorb.
See, this is why we can't have nice things. This is why we can't have nice things. It's like you thought of a sick ass fucking like, I don't know, maybe you're a necromancer wizard, maybe you're undead, maybe you're like something like that, a reborn or something, and somebody hits you with necrotic damage. And you like take half it, but absorb it and turn it into healing as a reaction. You can do it once a day. Love that. And then you go, hey, I'm just gonna blast myself with a 4th level blight and then turn it into absorb. It's just like this is why we can't have nice things because we fucking do stupid things like this.
Yeah, this is like the barbarian with 5e rules. It's different in 1D&D now, but in 5e, rules is written for barbarian rage. If you don't make an attack or get attacked on your turn, you drop your rage. It's like the barbarian who's like 100 feet away, has no chance of getting hit or anything, going, I just punch myself to maintain my rage. Come on.
See, the thing is though, that's a flaw in the system.
Yeah, no, I agree that is a flaw in the system.
I don't begrudge barbarian. it still feels bad.
It's still cheesy as fuck.
It's cheesy, but at the same time, it's just I don't want to drop my rage because my DM put the enemies 100 feet away.
True.
So it's
Yes,
just like
true.
I have to find a way. Hey, I punch myself. I take a little bit of
Yeah.
damage, but my rage keeps going. It's just like it's cheesy, but they do it because they have to, because the game design's bad. This is something you made up yourself and then abused it.
Yeah.
That's what I don't like. It's just like you thought of something really cool and thematic.
Yeah,
I love
agree.
it. Hey, I'm just gonna blast myself with a blight.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah,
Hey,
and
do you want to know what?
hey.
You don't have that ability anymore.
Yeah. And you know what? The thing is, we all know the person who would ask this stupid fucking question, and then the DM would be like, "Come on,
Yeah.
no."
Why?
And then the player, we all know a player who would be like, yeah, but actually rules is written, and there's nothing in the item that says that I can't. I'm still using a 4th level spell slot. You know, I'm healing myself.
I'll tell you what this is the same as. Tell you the energy. I know exactly which plane you're talking about, by the way. This is giving control water. I boil the water in their blood or something. Oh, what? Blood is like this much % of iron. I use heat metal and boil the iron in their blood, and it's just
Boring.
like, hey, shut up.
Yeah, that's so
Hey,
boring.
you're not fun to play
dude,
with.
you're not being anywhere near as clever as you think you are.
You're
And
actually being a complete nutter ass. That's what you're doing.
to be fair, the way that OP has written this,
Yeah.
I think, is in jest.
Yeah,
I want to make it clear we're not going in on OP.
No, no.
The way they've written it is clearly in jest, being like, admittedly me.
Yeah,
but,
I was a fucking piece of shit.
Yeah, and you know what? The thing is, you can totally making these jokes, because that's something I can see, like Josh.
Oh,
I can imagine
Josh
Josh
would
being
fucking-
like, imagine if I did that.
Yeah.
He would never do it.
Because he never want to be cheesy.
No,
he
he'd
never
never
want
wanna
to
be cheesy.
like take maybe things that like as a dungeon master you want to give people like cool magic items.
Mhm.
But when you give people cool magic items, you can't think of every single way that they could use it with every spell in the game, with every ability in the
Yeah.
game, with every resistance, with everything like that. And then they'll find like Josh might find a strange little loophole, and they'll be like, "Man, imagine if I did that. It'd be so funny." I'd be
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, imagine."
Yeah. And you know what? I know that there's going to be people watching who are the people who are like, well, rules is written. And hey, you know what? Just because it's rules is written, and just because you found a loophole that you can technically do something,
Yeah.
doesn't mean it's fun.
It's the whole bag of rats thing. It's like the bag of rats theory.
That's what they call me.
Yeah, bag of rats. It's like you carry around a bag of rats. So when things happen on death, when things happen when you reduce people to 0 hit points, you just get the bag of rats, you smash it on the ground. Oh, I get all these things because of reduced things to 0 hit points. It's like, technically you're not wrong.
Yeah.
But you are making the game so unbearably unfun for everyone that you're playing with because of the way that you're trying to. It's just like you're trying to win.
Yeah.
You're trying to outsmart. You're trying to win. You're trying to find loopholes.
Yeah,
it's just not fun.
I can't help but wonder, does it feel good?
No.
Because the thing is, I honestly understand working within rules as written and pushing them to a point where it's exciting to do so. I totally get it. But I don't know, people who have that adversarial, and I'm not talking about OP, by the way. And I'm not talking about people who
it's brought up a talking point.
Yeah, I'm not talking about people who do it in jest. I'm not talking about people who are like, "Ooh, could I try this?" I'm talking about people who intentionally go out of their way. Do you remember that one that we read where someone was like, "How can I make my DM's life hell? I want to eat the monkey."
Yeah, the loophole.
Let me eat the monkey.
Yeah, I want to eat the monkey. Help me find the loophole and stuff
so
like
I can
that.
actually
So I
eat this
can
monkey.
Yeah, and it's just like, why?
Yeah, why?
are we?
Right.
Why
And
are we?
yeah,
Why are we?
Totally not saying that OP is like that at all.
No,
by the
but
way.
it
But,
just brought up a talking point.
it's
People who,
like it's the same saying as like, just because it's legal doesn't mean it's weird.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean it's not weird.
Doesn't mean
even.
it's not weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just fucking. It's just not good.
Yep.
It's just like play. And the thing is, we can find like when the new system comes out, like we've currently got. We've got 2024, we've got 1D&D or whatever we want to call it. Do you know what? I hate the fact that I don't know what they want to call it.
Yeah, is it 2024 or is it 1D&D?
Is it 2024 or is it 1D&D?
Yeah.
And I've seen some people call it 5.24.
Yeah.
Hey, look, not doing it.
Yeah.
Hey,
yeah.
don't like that. But like, this is the thing, when we find new things out, it's like it's like D&D shorts. Like he finds weird loopholes, makes shots of it, and like the dungeon master sat there molding at the fact that this new rule system is actually and it's fun, but it's like
I think that's in jest, and I think
Yeah.
that's in like not speculation. That's in theory.
it's in theory.
That's in theory.
It's in theory. It's just like the amount of times that I reckon D&D Shorts actually turns up to a game table and does those
actually
things.
does that shit.
And the thing is, you might do, but you might play at a table where they like to
Yeah,
do that. They like to
totally.
just fucking find these whack
totally.
exploits and do as much damage as they possibly can.
Totally.
And that's fun if you're playing at that table. But, when you're just playing with a casual dungeon master who likes to, just run a casual game every week, and you come in with your bag of rats and you're fucking smashing it on the ground, it's just like, well, no, I've got 1 billion temporary hit points, and I do this just like, hey, why are we doing it?
Yeah.
Why are we doing it?
Yep, I agree. And once more, I cannot stress enough that is nothing to OP.
No.
It sounds like OP.
Yeah.
But still, that's still cheesy.
Yeah,
It's still
like,
cheesy.
I talked to my dungeon master at the beginning of the game. Hey, I'm like this undead, like reborn person. Can I have this cool ability where I take necrotic damage and I actually like half it and heal it instead? Hey, that's a really cool idea. Right, sick. I'm gonna cast Blight on myself all the time, and it's just like you ruin it. You take that trust and you shatter it.
There's a level of trust, and I think there's a level of taking advantage with things like that as well.
I agree.
Like, I realize in this moment I'm coming from a very biased place with my very strong opinions on players like that, because we played in a game with a player like that, and it was horrible.
Yeah, and
it was horrible
is,
for us. It was horrible for the DM.
He would try and find
like they would have done this.
They would have done this, and then as soon as the DM was like, "No, you can't do that,"
and they would have argued it to the death. And then if they didn't get their way, they would have just not spoken for the rest of the
they'd
session.
have sulked.
Yeah.
They'd have made the dungeon master feel bad.
Yeah.
They'd have like blamed the dungeon master. Then why'd you give me the ability? Then if I
Yeah.
can't use it like this, it's just like you are shattering the goodwill of the dungeon master who wanted to do something good for you.
and then
that you came to the dungeon master for.
Yeah, and then the DM went on from that campaign, not trusting any player,
Never.
having to think of airtight, solid ways that we could only progress if we only did it in this certain order to make sure that this person didn't cheese it, because they cheese things so often.
Because they cheesed everything.
And it made it not fun for anyone.
Yeah, and the dungeon master basically just never wanted to do the dungeon master ever again.
And I realised that is a very personal bias that I have towards things like this.
What can we speak on if not only our personal?
Certainly. That's why I feel so strongly about it.
Same, so do I.
And again, if this is at a table and everyone finds it funny, the DM doesn't care, it's in jest, everyone's laughing, doesn't matter.
Then that's fine.
Doesn't
Then
matter.
you're having a great time.
Yeah.
Then you're just having a good time with your mates. That's fine.
It's when you go down the path of wanting to pull one over your DM.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's just like most tables don't run like that.
No.
And most dungeon masters aren't in it for that. And most dungeon masters will say yes to the cool thing that's thematic for your character.
Yeah.
For then you to then abuse it and use it against them is unfair.
None of us would ever.
No.
I think we'd say it out loud and have a laugh about it.
Yeah, we'd be like, but I'm not going to do that because that's cheesy.
Yeah, totally. But then we'd be like, unless.
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 That's it.
That's the one.
That's it. That's the one.
That's the fully.
Yeah.
That's done. We're done. We're finished.
Yep. I need to go and freak out about this one shot for the next.
Don't freak out.
Next 4
It's
hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Make sure you like, make sure you comment, make sure you subscribe. What do you think of those house rules?
Yes, what's all your opinions on all those
Especially
things?
that last one.
Yeah, honestly, especially last one. Have you ever been at a table
with somebody who does things like that?
Similar to that?
Yeah.
And like, was it a case of everyone just found it funny and everyone like didn't mind, or was it a case of it fucking ruined everything for you?
It was a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell to be notified when we upload a video on a Monday and a Thursday. Make sure you check out the merch at www.eldritchpodblast.co.uk. Our Pride t-shirts will be going up soon, so keep an eye out for that.
Yes.
Check out the Patreon. Anything else?
No.
I love you.
Yes, see us when no episodes next week.
No episodes next week. Come and say hi at Comic-Con London.
Yes.
I love you.
I love you.
Bully loves you.
Yes.
We have been the Eldritch Podblast, and we're going to see you on Monday. Bye.
And another huge thank you to our patrons for all of your support. A big shout out to our fellow entities:
Hoobs,
Ariel,
Tula,
Runarian,
Arkham Labs Cosplay,
Maddie, Luna,
Teddysaurus,
Caspian, J-Spot,
Ultrafail,
Dallin M,
Sleepy,
Joe Dragonlord 2,
Alistar,
Lawkeeper Society,
Ricky B,
Danny Phantom,
Catherine,
Faustskin,
Azuriel,
Panda Queen Plays,
Xylo Boy,
Lucas Iapetus,
Luna River, Christomancy,
The Tacos Are Here,
Gavin,
Leah, thank you again for all your support.
And if you too would like to become a patron of the Eldritch Podblast, check the link below.